MSI is now putting AI in monitors to help you not suck at League of Legends. AI features are coming to almost every piece of hardware you can think of, but when it gives you this much of an advantage, wouldn't it be considered cheating? Yes, it would. AI is definitely the buzzword for CES 2024, and I'm just gonna get beaten by meat, just like you're gonna do when you buy this new monitor, chat. And it seems no piece of hardware is immune from the glizzy overdrive from the coming integration of a whole host of AI features, some with rather dubious usefulness. However, MSI has been showing off an upcoming OLED, its demo suite in Las Vegas show, and its new AI-powered Sky Sight feature appears to be capable of detecting incoming enemies in League of Legends and giving away their position with an on-screen icon. So we went from having dots on our monitor to now just having an AI read your screen and then tell you where the enemy is. How is this flat out not cheating? Imagine this is going to happen in like Valorant and Counter-Strike, where you can estimate when they're going to peek that corner because AI is learning how they're playing. Like, screw League of Legends. Think about like competitive shooters. Like these type of monitors are going to get banned. You're going to start seeing AI peripherals getting banned in tournament play, but just for general consumer use, I don't think this is a good play. I mean, they're just trying to sell, and I get it. Like, they have no qualms about it. They're like, hey, we got to sell some monitors. This is kind of pushing it for me. This is like, remember the old days when you have a controller and then you could hit like a turbo button? It's like that, but on crack. And instead of hitting a button a bunch, it tells you where the an enemy is. There's so many cheaters and competitive shooters, I don't think 10 people buying an AI monitor will affect anything in the short term. No, if it becomes a norm, then that's not good. Then it's an arms race. Oh, it's like, oh, then everybody needs to have an AI monitor to tell me where everybody is. It's a slippery slope. The display makes use of an onboard AI accelerator, analyzes the mini-map to anticipate incoming opponents before placing an icon on the screen to let you know exactly where they're coming from, alongside other game tracking features that keeps an eye on your health bar and displays it on a physical RGB light strip on the monitor itself. Like, that part's kind of cool, right? I can see useful things for this, right? Thing where it's like analyzing mini maps and learning how people are playing. No. And I think cheating will always be a thing, but we don't need to help the cheaters by you outspending me and then having an AI tell you what to do. Because what stops, like, this is like the baby part of AI, right? What stops it from being like, oh, hey, place your ability here because the people have come this way X, Y, and Z time? What happens when you start having back and forth conversations with it? And the crazy part is that this is all on board the monitor. So a game can't even detect this because its own processor in the freaking monitor. You can't combat something like this. You honestly can't. Actually, no, that's not true. You know how you combat this? Lawsuits. That's how you combat this. If it is an air-gapped system, effectively, right? It probably has to have some kind of connection to the internet to get updates because it has an AI chip now. It needs like some kind of update for features and yada, yada, yada. Or just it's a part of the driver, right? So there actually might be a component that can detect the AI if it's part of the driver. So I'm curious how they're implementing it, but if they're smart, they've air-gapped it. It is not interacting with the computer at all, so the games can't detect it. Because that's like, you're effectively selling cheats. MSI says that game tracking won't be limited to League of Legends. Oh, thank God. Yeah. Let's add it to all the games. As it'll be releasing an application that will allow you to train these features to recognize and react to enemies, other on-screen elements in any game. Wow. So you're able to train the AI. If there is a way to train it and it's detectable on the PC, I guarantee you it's now going to become an arm race where Valorant, Counter-Strike, any other major shooters out there are just going to start detecting this and just banning you. And then you're going to see people complain that they got banned for no reason, even though they bought one of these monitors. Interesting, while your PC will handle the processing of the training, once the display has configured, it'll supposedly process the visual data it receives on its own, freeing up this resource. Oh, that's not good. What that effectively means is that it is air-gapped. Like, it'll be processing and doing all the computations on its own in the monitor, and you're just using the software as a training model. Yeah, this is kind of biggest figure seems to suggest that the display is designed for competitive gaming, which, given the AI game tracking features, that may create an interesting conundrum for esport leagues. Oh, they're gonna ban it, hands down. MSI is getting banned. If this feature starts becoming the default, they're never gonna be in a tournament ever. Like, no one's gonna want that in their freaking tournaments. Yeah, because like that's just more overhead to oversee and make sure that everyone's playing fair. No, hell no, they're not doing that. The AI processing happens on the display, not the machine running it, which likely means it's virtually undetectable by any current anti-cheat software. Yep, so that's exactly what we were talking about, right? So you now have undetectable cheats because you bought this monitor. And we're just hitting the tip of the iceberg right now with AI, right? That makes it an advantage that other players and officials may be unaware of unless they were in the room watching the output themselves. This reminds reminds me of when people started using Hall effect keyboards in Trackmania to get exact turning radiuses. That stuff is complicated enough without having to worry about this stuff. Yeah, it's an arms race of technology, right? And it's new disruptive technology, and we're just living in this world now. Because yeah, I mean, there's another article that's talking about how like controllers are now going to be learning with AI shoved in them, and they learn how you play and then help you out. So imagine doing that in a tournament. Like there's a whole slew of peripherals that are going to have AI in them now. But still no sex box. What the fuck is wrong with these tech companies? I mean, there's AI girlfriends, you know, and they send you nudes now. Even a capture card can't pick it because it's not part of the signal. For example, I could have an AI monitor telling me all these different things and cheating, right? And then I could be streaming it and no one would be the wiser because it's not part of the actual feed that's going to my capture card. But how do you detect an AI for another AI that's air gapped? That's the problem. What they're saying here is the AI is effectively air gapped. It sits on the monitor. It only works on the monitor. It never talks to the PC other than for training. So imagine if someone was very careful and uninstalled the training software once it was trained. So then the AI that's searching your PC for any kind of like dubious runtime things, it's not even there. It's worth noting that many esports leagues keep tabs on players via required live cam web feeds, although it's not much of a stretch to suggest that they might be able to tweak the settings here or there to make effectively subtle enough to possibly escape notice. Gonna cut off my hands and replace them with AI ones? Oh, dude, I am too. I'm definitely doing that. Hands down. Maybe my legs too. Replace it all. Just be like a stub torso. Because it's reading the screen. So you're training it. It's like a training model, right? You train it to understand the game that you're playing, and then it gives suggestions based on that. So all it's doing from an AI perspective is reading everything on your screen. Skynet starts with the monitors until it updates itself. Like having a webcam on somebody, or even having them stream their footage, because it would be on the monitor. Just as like, you can't, if I turn on like the little dot on my monitor, you know, that helps me aim, you know, it's like the crosshair that you could do. You can't see that with me streaming. Imagine if the AI zoomed in the game for you. So instead of you like leaning in and like trying to see shit, imagine if the AI learned that when you right click, you should zoom in harder, and it just scales the screen. We're in an interesting future of peripherals here. Regardless of the potential competitive advantages on this tech, it might be the most interesting use of AI I've seen come out of CES so far. Certainly for non-competitive uses, it may well serve as a useful purpose. No, that. Ban that. Particularly for those with visual perception issues or limited vision, as keeping track of fast-paced action via traditional game interfaces can be difficult with those with disabilities. Yes, it can be. Once you've opened Pandora's box, there is no putting it back. Oh yeah, no, you're effectively buying something that reads the screen for you, and do you know that it doesn't send that somewhere too? I mean, there's a whole security issue. Like, guaranteed that these monitors will be banned for any kind of high security or anything, but they're not really aimed for that, right? They're aimed for gamers. But gamers don't think about that, oh, you know what? It could just read my bank statement. It could just fucking read my routing numbers. It could just do everything for me. As for the esport players, it'll be interesting to see how governing bodies might react to this sort of technology creeping into competitive gaming. I mean, I can tell you exactly how they're going to react. I can tell you exactly how they're gonna react. They're gonna ban anything that's MSI. This is gonna be like a wild world once AI starts actually becoming the norm in peripherals. And I'm curious to see how game companies start dealing with it. If you have an AI in your keyboard and your mouse, and then you also have AI doing your work or doing whatever, like, what are you doing? Like, are you doing anything anymore?